Now, bringing you the very best in New Hampshire-based local music on IPMNation.com and 100.1 The Planet, this is Local Outbreak. And on the couch, we have Conrad. How do you say your last name? Is it Ware?
War, like in Second World War.
Oh, War. Conrad War from the band Bees Deluxe. How are you? Welcome.
Very well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We've been playing some of your stuff on the show. And now you're not from these parts originally, are you?
I consider myself from Brooklyn, but I'm actually from London.
Okay. Now, why do you consider yourself from Brooklyn? Did you live there for a while?
Well,
or?
If you're brought up in England, everything is easy. You know, people go to sleep in the middle of the day. They don't work. They don't do anything. They just crown people.
Oh.
But then when you move to America, suddenly you find you've actually got to work and meet people and find things and do jobs. And so I moved to Brooklyn and New York, and I found it was a baptism of fire.
Yeah.
So immediately, it was like being in New York for 6 months was like 6 years in university in England.
Wow.
It's much, much harder.
So the lyrics to "Hang Fire" by the Rolling Stones, that's actually accurate,
That's
is
pretty,
what you're saying.
pretty fair, yes.
I'll be damned. When did you come to the United States?
So I was in New York in the early 80s.
Okay.
And I put an ad in the Village Voice, and I got a drummer and a bass player, and I auditioned for Hilly at the CBGB's on a Monday night. And he said, "You guys are all right. Come back tomorrow." And then after that, he says, "You guys are all right. Come back on a Wednesday." So, and after 6 months, we worked our way up to playing on Saturday night, 2 sets in between the headlining band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we opened for Dogs of War, which was the name of Living Colour in those days.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, fantastic band.
Oh, wow.
And HR from Bad Brains.
Oh, wow.
So we missed the early section with the Ramones and Talking Heads, but we got in the second wave when bands were still really interesting, but didn't quite go Billboard.
Okay. Oh, that must have been a great time to be there.
It was awesome.
Wow, that's amazing.
One night we were playing with Jonathan, Gregg, and the Lonesome Debonaires, and I don't know if you remember CB's, but the stage was to the side of the walk-through to the bathroom. So we're playing, Jonathan, Gregg, and his band are all at the bar drinking. They come back, all their guitars have gone out the back door.
Oh, my God.
Wow. You had to nail things down or hold them in your hands.
Yeah. Oh, geez. So you were there, when did you say? So early 80s?
Early 80s.
Okay.
Then my girl got a job in Boston, so I went, all right, I'll move up to Boston, and then started all over again.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple of kids, and I had to stay at home, make sure they didn't put forks in the electricity.
Right.
And then started up again. So I put together Bees Deluxe here in Boston.
Okay. What was the band called when you were in New York?
That band was called Invisible House.
Oh, that's a cool name. I like that. Now, where does the name Bees Deluxe come from? What does that mean?
It's a combination of a pub in London and an amplifier that I use to this day.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, I had to come up with a name very, very fast because I was in a bar with a friend of mine called Maurice, and he said, "You should play here." And I went, "I don't have a band." He says, "Well, I'm going to book you. What's the name of the band?"
Yeah.
So we played the next Friday.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I have a friend, Mike Laughlin, who used to be in a band called Something, because he was on the spot. He was he was supposed to play somewhere, and they didn't have a name for the band yet, and he just called it Something, and actually stuck with it for a while.
So listeners should beware, because I have a neighbor in Jamaica Plain who started a band, and he called it Hot Dog, and I went, "You're an idiot. If people go on Google and search for Hot Dog, they're never going to find you."
Right.
So you've got to do something that's off center.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And also too, something that you can be reasonably sure that somebody doesn't already have.
Right.
Yeah. So that makes sense. I mean, how quick did you have to come up with that? Like, did you do a search online to make sure there wasn't already a band somewhere called Deluxe, or did you?
We were in the rehearsal studio.
Yeah.
On the phone booking it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's great. That's great. That's very rock and roll.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what was it like, starting in the music scene in Boston in contrast to New York? Was it drastically different in some ways? Or?
The scenes were and still are very different.
Yeah.
In New York, many of the clubs are 4 bands a night, backline provided, bring 150 people or we'll never book you again. Mm-hmm. And they're like sausage factories.
Yeah.
They just churn you in and churn you out.
Yeah.
And some are better than others. Some have actual people who care about music. Boston, we tend to play gigs where we play for 3 hours.
Okay.
So we're playing in a room where the management and the bartenders like us.
Yeah.
They'll tell their friends. And once the customers have seen us once, they come back for the next one.
Yeah.
So we play anywhere from dive bars, like Vincent's in Worcester. I mean, if there's 45 people in there, it's packed.
Yeah.
It's a great dive bar. And then we'll play Boston City Winery, Haymarket Lounge, where they're very Tony, and they serve meals.
Yeah.
And people sit down.
Yeah.
So there's a range, but we like to play on our own, because that's why you want to play, is you want to play as much as possible.
So you'll do a 3-hour set,
take a break in the middle and run out for a cigarette or something, but if you're only playing for 40 minutes, you barely got the plane off the ground.
Right. You've got a lot of originals, and we've been playing some of them today, but you also have quite a few covers, I would imagine, right?
So our philosophy is to play covers that aren't played by everybody else, and reverse engineer them so they're different.
Okay.
So we'll take a song like Damn Your Eyes by Etta James, and we'll play it in a different key, in a different tempo, in a different feel, and then get rid of one chorus and put a break in there instead.
Oh, okay.
And then stretch.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we do is improvisational. We don't really know where we're going to go until we've hit it.
Yeah. Do you run into it where someone will? Has anyone ever come up to you and said, "Hey, I really like that song, a certain song," and they assumed it was one of yours, but it was actually a song that was a cover that you took and reverse engineered?
Exactly that. We played for 2 hours at the House of Blues when it was at Harvard Square in Cambridge.
Yeah.
And the couple came up to me at the end and they said, "You guys are really good. You should play some covers." And we've been playing ZZ Top, Jimi Hendrix, Etta James, Freddie King, Albert King, and they liked the tunes, but they didn't know that they'd heard them before.
That's funny. Yeah, because subconsciously there's something in the backs of their minds that's going to connect with that because they have heard it before, but they don't know what it is because they don't recognize it. That's interesting. That's really cool. Our friend DJ Steve is in the chat room. Rhonda Favero says, "Living Color, excellent band." Yeah, that's cool. You said, what were they called? Dogs of War before they were Living Color?
Yeah, that was their sort of hidden name.
Oh, okay.
Like when the Stones played St. Morgan's Cove, I don't know what they call themselves, but they played to 50 people there.
Yeah. You said you live in Jamaica Plain?
Yeah.
You ever play the Midway Cafe?
Yes, as much as possible.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And they've opened up. They've got the room next door as well. So now there's a horseshoe bar and you can get behind it and in front of it.
Oh, okay.
So they got double the space than when I used to play in a long time ago.
Oh, okay. I used to do back when I did a lot of promoting. I used to do shows there. Like for a while, it was like once a month at the Midway, but they didn't have that other space then, so it was small. It was cool. It was a lot of fun.
It's still going strong.
It was a long time ago. It's probably not even the same owners now. But
I think it's Jay Balerna and Dave Quit. There were 2 brothers.
Oh, I'll be damned. So Dave is still... I remember Dave.
Jay is the serious one, and Dave was the nut job. He and I would go up on the roof and throw bottles at cars going past.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Dave is the one I would deal with there. I remember Dave. So he's still there.
No, Dave has vanished, but Jay is still there.
Oh, Dave. Okay. See, I don't think I ever dealt with Jay. I don't think I ever met Jay. I think it was all Dave. Dave is what do you mean he's vanished?
I haven't seen him for a while.
Oh, okay. But he's not actually missing, is he?
No, but I don't think he's working that room.
Oh, okay. I was afraid something had happened to him.
No.
Because I have good memories with Dave, and it sounds like you have some good memories with him as well.
Although, yeah, definitely.
Although not necessarily the best thing to be doing. But so when did you end up in Boston? Would that have been late 80s or?
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
What happened was I got a job, because my then girlfriend got a job as a night science fellow at MIT. She was the science journalist.
Okay.
I got a job. I was in design. I got a job at Rykodisc as production manager. So I went to Salem every day on Pickering Wharf, and I dealt with Frank Zappa and his wife Gail.
Really?
David Bowie, Yoko Ono, all the releases that we put on Rykodisc. We repackaged artists who were fed up with their major labels.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very familiar with Rykodisc. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
I'm guessing 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I sort of quit because I got fed up with the fact that they didn't A&R anything. Everything was recataloguing.
Yeah.
And the final straw for me was that there was a band called Gallon Drunk. Gallon Drunk were Morrissey's boyfriend and his pals. And Sire Records convinced my boss that we should put out 2 albums by Gallon Drunk because they were going to tour opening for Morrissey.
Oh.
And we were going to sell 50,000 copies of each album.
Yeah.
And that Conrad had to put them out in 5 days, meaning me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I didn't kill myself because I'm still alive today to tell the story.
Yeah.
But I put out these albums, and they were horrible.
Oh, really?
Really horrible. We killed ourselves doing it. So I went to the boss and I go, I can't do this anymore. You know, it's like operating on a corpse.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've not even heard of Gallon Drunk.
Right. Be thankful.
Yeah. Wow, that must have been a great experience, though.
It was. It was a lot of fun. Really fast moving and a lot of great artists and very nice to do things that were good for the industry. So, for instance, we started Ban the Box. You're probably too young to remember this. But when they switched from vinyl to CD, everything came in 12-inch long boxes.
Yes, I do remember that, actually.
Complete waste of cardboard and printing and money. And so we started this movement called Ban the Box.
Oh.
And we got that kicked out. And then I was working with Philips DuPont Optical in Minneapolis. And together with them, I invented see-through jewel cases.
Oh, no kidding.
And then I invented the green dye that we put in Rykodisc.
Okay.
So when you looked at the disc, you knew it was a Rykodisc album because it was green.
Okay.
Lime green.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as we came out with the first releases like that, you know, everybody from the country was calling me, how did you do that? Where did you get that done?
Yeah.
You know, like Geffen Records were mad that they hadn't come up with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you sell them the technology
The recipe?
or something?
No, I told them to get lost.
If you're just joining us, we're talking with Conrad War from the band Bees Deluxe, but he's also been pretty well steeped in the music industry in other ways too. This is a cool surprise because I love talking about this stuff. So where did you go? So after you left Rykodisc, where did you go then?
Well, what happened immediately after that was the internet came out.
Yeah.
Rykodisc went under, and they got picked up by Island, Palm Records, Island, and they drove it into the ground, and now it's moved to Rhino on the West Coast.
Okay.
And Rhino managed it as a back catalog. I don't think it's an active label. But I went and I was designing books and magazines and CDs and posters, and the internet came out. An editor gave me a little floppy disk, said, you'll like this, Conrad. It's something called Mosaic. And I put it into a computer, and I went, I can see the code. This is desktop publishing, but from computer to computer. So then I stayed awake for 2 weeks learning how to write code and how to write Director and Flash when it came out.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So I was doing that during the day and then playing at night.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. So you've lived through all the changes in the.
And the one that's coming up now is AI. We're all going to live through that.
Yeah. Well, any predictions on that? Because I know some people are concerned that musicians are going to go away.
I'm not scared of that, but we are in a point. If you remember when cars were first invented, somebody had to walk in front of them with a red flag.
No.
Yeah, when people first had cars,
I didn't know that.
You had to have like a servant walk 30 feet in front of you with a red flag.
Oh, wow.
Watch out, there's a car coming.
Oh, no kidding.
I didn't know that.
And
wow.
we're at that stage with AI, because when I talk to AI like ChatGPT, I'll ask it some questions and it'll go, I'm sorry, my database stops 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, that's an invasion of privacy. I can't tell you that.
Oh.
Or, I'm sorry, we don't know. So it's early stages.
My son was talking about this with me earlier, actually, and he's in favor of a law to pass that if you're interacting with an AI, it has to be known to you that it's an AI.
Yeah. So it is already doing good things. So, for instance, doctors who are too much overworked with paperwork, they can say, I've diagnosed my patient with X. And they'll write to the AI engine, they'll say, give me 3 different treatment plans for a patient with X who's 32 years old, a white male. Mm-hmm. And the AI engine will come back with 3 reputable treatment plans, and the doctor will be able to choose from that. And that saved them, I don't know, 2 hours in books.
Yeah.
Because they can't remember all of that stuff.
Right.
But AI not only remembers it, but is learning it and teaching itself that.
Okay.
Aren't you concerned, though, about it going too far? Like, I mean, people are like, what my son was talking about is he's tried to interact with some of the AIs that people are talking about. I think there's one that's on TikTok, maybe, and that he found it concerning how they could become one-sided or another. Like he said he interacted with one that was uber left liberal, but then there was another one that was uber right conservative, and he's worried about AI in those worlds.
It's just like the internet. It'll give you back what you put into it. So that now there's a new class of jobs the job is called a prompt engineer. That's somebody who knows how to talk to AI.
Okay.
That's a new job.
Yeah.
Really?
A prompt engineer. And the point of that is the AI itself doesn't care if you're a Republican or Democrat.
Right.
It's going to answer the question pending how you ask it. So you just have to be, it's like being scared of guns. Guns are dangerous, but it is possible to handle one without it going off.
Yeah.
And AI is dangerous, but it's possible to handle it without it going off.
Yeah. There was this story. I think it might have been at Facebook or Meta or whatever you call it now. Did you see this? We've talked about it on the show. These 2 AI bots or computers. They were talking to each other. Do you know the story I'm talking about?
I've heard of that.
They were talking to each other, and they came up with their own language to communicate with each other, and they ended up getting disconnected because people were like, we don't know what they're saying to each other. They seem to have their own language, and for all we know, they could be saying, let's kill all the humans and take over.
That's just like what my parents used to say is, go upstairs, find out what the kids are doing, and tell them to stop it.
Right. There you go. Our friend Mike Doyle is on the line. Hi, Mike.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks, Jenny. Nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you.
And I apologize. I just turned you on, and I heard the discussion about AI, and I didn't catch the gentleman's name.
Yeah, this is Conrad War. He's from the band Bees Deluxe. And we've really been talking about music and the music industry and so forth, but we took a little bit of a side street because AI, a big subject right now, is how is AI already beginning to affect the music industry?
What's your take on it, Mike?
Oh, okay.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I apologize because I thought you were simply discussing AI, and I understand now you have with music and everything. My only question was, I heard a great discussion about a week ago, and it was about the many positive things that can come out of AI, like you were just mentioning about the doctor and how many different remedies for what your ailment is, et cetera, and hours it could save and all this. But then they went to the discussion about the negative part of it, and then how horrible the negative part could be in cloning people, making people guilty of crimes they didn't commit, things like that. And it was a really good discussion and the experts were saying that, there's a really, really dark side to it, and there's a really good upside, which is why everybody has a little bit of trepidation right now as to,
Sure.
We want the good, but how do we stop the bad?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a subject we'll be discussing for many years to come, obviously, as it continues to advance. It seems like it's definitely here. It's like the moment came, we've been hearing about it for so long, and now it's like, oh, it's here. We've got the chat GPT.
And I know you don't like, I don't believe you like Musk, but when a guy who had his hand in the start of somewhat creating it, says, "Hey, we should pause here for a moment." That worries me. You know what I mean? I say, "Holy cow!" If he's worried,
sure. There's a lot of people who are worried.
Take note.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's something we want to proceed with caution with, certainly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had crossed into music with it.
Yeah.
I thought it was strictly an AI.
So here's an example, Mike. There was a record released on the streaming networks by two artists that was created by AI, and the two artists named in it had nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the record companies went ballistic because it got downloaded like 500,000 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they had to shut it down. But the point was, somebody using AI had made a song that sounded like these two guys.
Yep.
And it was a hit.
Yep. Two hip hop artists. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
So think of the lawsuits.
Well, yeah, the lawyers always win.
That will come out of it.
We'll all be dead, and the lawyers will still be running around.
Ain't that the truth?
There'll be AI lawyers, probably. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
We don't need.
All right.
lawyers.
Well, good talking to you guys.
Right.
Continue with your and Jenny. If I don't see you, happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you so much. That was nice.
Yeah,
right.
very nice.
Talk
All right.
to you later.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Talking with Conrad War from the band Bees Deluxe, and we are in uncharted territory, and this is probably the next big transition in the music industry, right? Like first was the internet with Napster and everything becoming digital, and the effects that had on the music industry, just really just changing it foundationally. This is the next big change potentially, right?
Right, and it should be used creatively. So, for instance, Charlie Christian used to play guitar in an acoustic band, and he had the idea of sticking a gramophone needle into the body of his guitar, like a hypo syringe.
Yeah,
and that made the music come out of the bell of his gramophone, and people were horrified. And then, the wah pedal came out, and people were horrified.
Yep. Yeah.
And then Pro Tools came out, and all these musicians are going, "Oh, it's sick. I prefer analog. I want to be on 2-inch tape." Or
Right.
the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper was done on an 8-track. Why are you using Pro Tools? Because you can move a beat or change its pitch this much. And AI is going to be exactly the same thing. People are going to be able to do things that we hadn't done before.
Right.
And I'd said years ago, wouldn't it be great to have, for instance, another Led Zeppelin album when they've all passed away? Well, AI will help us do that.
Interesting.
And I'm not talking about Greta Van
I
Fleet.
was just thinking that. I was thinking the same thing. Don't we already have that?
Well, and also you could get a movie. You could say, well, let's have Bill Murray with Marilyn Monroe in a movie.
Right.
Because it's possible now.
Right. Yeah. So you sound positive about it.
I think that technology moves forward and we have to keep up with it.
Right. Yeah.
My fear is that government people and politicians don't know how to regulate this stuff because they don't understand it.
Right.
If you remember when Mark Zuckerberg was in the Senate being at a committee meeting.
I talk about this on the show a lot.
The senators were talking to him. They go, "How do you make money?" It's like they don't understand anything about this.
Oh, Conrad, I've talked about that so many times on the show, how I get so nervous when when government tries to interfere with technology or the internet or anything, and I use that as an example.
Yeah.
I tell people, I say, if you have confidence in these people to actually regulate this stuff, I can fix you. Just go to YouTube and just look up either Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey when he went and testified before a committee, and just listen to the questions that these people ask.
Yeah.
And you begin to realize they're going to be voting on things that they have no idea what the hell even they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Same is true of Frank Zappa when he went to Washington.
Oh, when for the PMRC thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. Well, we are, let's play something. We've been playing some of your music. We'll take a break and we'll play, I'll let you pick the song. This is, the album Voice of Dog, correct? This is the current album that I have in front of me.
That's an all originals album by Bees Deluxe.
Yes.
And I thought it was hilarious that we would start the album with a song called Song Number 9.
Ah, yes.
And it drives people mad. I go, that's the point.
What did I play at the beginning of the show? I think I played that one already.
You were playing Flat Earth Conspiracy when I came in.
When you came in, yeah, at the beginning of the show, though, at the top of the show, I played something too, and I think it was that. I think it was song number 9. Let's see. What about
probably our biggest hit live is a song called Beer.
Oh, beer. All right. Let's now is this about is this about any particular person, or is it just about beer?
Both.
Okay.
and it only took 3 minutes to write.
Oh, really? Who's it about? Or can you say
is it a political person?
No, it's a romantic person.
Oh.
All right. Would you rather leave it at that as far as the explanation?
I think that's enough.
All right, let's give this a listen. So this is a track called Beer, and this is from the band Bees Deluxe. We have Conrad War in studio with us. Let's give this a spin, and then we'll continue our discussion. Here we go.
I want you, but I need a beer. I need you, but I want a beer. It's cold outside, but I need a beer. I like you, but I need a beer. I remember you, but I want a beer. It's dark outside, but I need a beer.
Great. That is Beer from Bees Deluxe. What a cool song. Jenny is here at the news desk.
I am. That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And on the couch, we have Conrad War from Bees Deluxe. And yeah, that's a great song. Now, that's you on vocals, right?
And guitar, yeah.
And guitar. Yeah. Very good, very good. Now, who else is in the band?
Carol Band plays keyboards, sings vocals, and plays harmonica.
Okay.
Paul Jarvinet is the drummer. And Jim Gilday is the bass player, and he sings as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 4-piece with 3 vocals.
Gotcha. So you take turns on the lead vocals
Yeah,
live?
It's mostly me because I'm
okay.
because I'm a whack job. And we tour from Maine. We go to Rockland, Maine, and go down to Miami and Florida. We go up and down the East Coast.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I was looking at your tour dates online, actually, at beesdeluxe.com is the site, right? Yeah, I like the website. Who does the website? Did you do that?
Yeah.
Did you build that? Yeah. I'm kind of a website nerd, so
Cool.
I noticed, I like the design. I like the layout. And you also brought Jenny and I a couple of, let's see, so there's, so you're still putting things out on CD,
Yeah.
obviously. So you brought us this single Nitro, and it's got Industrial Espionage, the instrumental version. Let me put
If
that.
you put the camera on me, I've got them right up in front of my computer.
Let's do. Oh, perfect. Yeah, there you
There's
go.
cameras? Nobody told me
Oh
that.
yeah, you're even on cable.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Oh, Mike Doyle
Yeah,
is.
you're everywhere.
Mike
Yeah.
is calling us back. Hey, Mike.
Hey, sorry, I hate to call more than once, but I had to say I had it on the station. I hadn't changed, and I was sitting at the light listening to that song, and let me tell you, that was awesome. The instrumentals in that song are off the charts, man. I don't want him to get too big of a head. The singing was good, but the instrumentals were off the charts.
No, right there with you.
Understood.
Yeah,
the vocals sucked.
Oh no.
That was excellent. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks.
Good job. It was excellent.
Thanks, Mike.
See ya.
All right, thanks, Mike. All right, very good. Yeah, I was going to ask him if it made him want to have a beer, but it sounded like he was in a hurry. But yeah, no, great song. Yeah. So now the artwork on these is really cool. Actually, let me put the camera back on where Jenny is, so
on me.
people watching online can see the artwork.
I want to see my gorgeous self.
Who does this? The artwork on these is really cool.
Well,
I think they're awesome.
we do the graphics, but we commission the art from people that we like. So, for instance, Nitro, the Green Man, he's actually called Anxious Man, is by this wonderful artist named Wendy Brusick, Brusick.
Okay.
So she found us playing in Cambridge and became a fan, and we looked up her artwork, and we begged her to do that. So she's done the artwork for our next album, which is still being mixed.
Okay.
And the other one called Wherever You Hide is an EP, and that's a photograph by my daughter, Zoe.
Nice.
Oh wow,
Zoe took that photograph in a sculpture park somewhere.
that is very cool.
I like it.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. And we'll for people listening who obviously can't see, we'll take pictures of these and put them up on social media so you can see exactly what we'll do that after the show so you can see what we're talking about. But yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. Now are you putting out are you doing anything on vinyl? I notice vinyl has it never went away, but now I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think 2022 might have been the first year where vinyl actually outsold CDs.
I read that too. I'm not sure I believe it.
Really? Yeah.
Well, one reason I don't believe it is because there's a vinyl shortage of the raw materials.
I didn't know that.
So obviously there's a lobbyist or there's a PR engine going behind it, probably to build it up again.
Yeah.
So the cost per entry for vinyl is hard because you got to make a master that you cut, So
Yeah.
whereas a CD you can make 50,
Right.
and a cassette you can make 10,
Yeah.
and an 8-track you can't make.
Yeah. Cassettes. I was shocked when, geez, must have been 7 or 8 years ago now, maybe not that long. I was on bandcamp.com and I realized that people were starting to put out cassettes again. I couldn't believe it. I mean, obviously just kind of as a novelty, I guess,
Right.
but I don't know. Maybe some people like the sound of tape hiss. I don't know.
Or they've got cassette players in their cars.
Yeah.
Or
You're
they-
sitting there
they've
with
got
a pencil
Walkmans.
on the tape, just
Yeah.
swinging it around,
Yeah.
trying to get it to line back up again. I don't miss tapes,
No.
but I think I want a CD player now.
yeah.
Like, I really think I want to have a CD player again.
Yeah, I know I have one. We actually have one here. I think Rob Azevedo is the only one who uses it for his show. But and I have a MacBook that has a CD player on it. But yeah, I was amazed to see that cassettes had sort of come back. And I actually, I used to work for a retail chain. I worked for Strawberries, and then of course it got bought by Transworld and became FYE. But I remember cassettes. One of the things that's interesting, and you might agree with me. It's interesting to see over time what technologies go away and what technologies stick around, and to try to predict it. And sometimes people aren't always right. And cassettes are an example of where I thought those were going to go away at least 5 years sooner than they did. And we still had them when I was working at that job. We had them much longer than I thought we would have. But my theory at the time was that it was because of the auto industry, because people still had cassette players in their cars,
Right.
even though CDs had been the dominant medium for so long. And then eventually cassettes went away, but cassettes stayed around a lot longer than I would have imagined. But
Well, it's immensely portable, but the two that you missed that went away, like the dinosaurs, were the mini disc, Sony,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Which had a bubble memory, so you could jog and it wouldn't skip.
Oh, okay.
And you
Yep.
could record on it, so you could record, speeches at college and go to sleep in them.
Yeah.
And then Philips came out with another one called Digital Compact Cassette, which was essentially a cassette-sized DAT.
Oh.
And that went down the toilet really fast because they tried to gouge back more of the royalties from the artists. This was Philips
Really?
in Germany.
Okay.
So, and the artist said, no, you can't have it. If you're going to take that much away from me, we're not going to put our albums out on digital compact cassette. But the idea was to have a cassette that had CD quality sound on it.
Okay. Did that ever make it to the United States?
I had to make those damn things at Rykodisc.
No kidding.
Yeah.
See, because I don't even remember those. I remember the mini discs. I don't remember, but I don't remember those.
Digital compact cassette.
Wow.
That burnt in flames really fast.
Yeah, yeah. Huh, interesting. I mean, I remember the old DAT recorders.
Yeah.
Those were great because
Yeah.
I remember you could bring those to a concert and record, and the quality would be amazing.
Right,
You
but
just-
indexing on that stuff, or it
yeah.
it was for engineers, not people.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and the other technology too that went away quickly, from what I can recall, is because we actually had these when I first started at Strawberries. We had these, but it was at the tail end was laser discs.
Oh yeah,
So you got this movie basically on.
and they were 12 inches.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they were huge.
Sure.
And it was it was cumbersome. And then of course, as soon as DVDs rather started coming out, laser discs went away pretty quickly.
Right.
But I remember people would come in wanting to order them, and it would take forever to get them. And
Do you have little libraries on the street here in Manchester?
I don't know if any of them. There may be one in Manchester, but they do have them around.
So they're all over in Jamaica Plain, and when I open them up, they're full of DVDs.
oh yeah, you're talking about the
They're little boxes on the
yeah,
street
people
where
set
you.
them up on the street, and you put
Yeah.
books in.
You put a
and
book
you
in,
can
take a book out.
Yeah.
And in my neighborhood, people are getting rid of their DVDs
No
because,
kidding.
because of the streaming industry, because of Netflix and Apple and everything like that.
Yeah. That's another thing that's been in the news lately too, because of the writers' strike, and these writers. Streaming has really changed technology. It just changes everything. Streaming has really changed the way a lot of them get paid and so forth.
Yeah, get ready to be flooded with reality shows.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh? That's what happens.
To take your clothes off, run out in the street.
That's what happens.
Get a series.
Yep. So now Bees Deluxe, how long is because I assume the lineup has changed over the years, right? Because
Occasionally we lose and find a player.
yeah.
Yeah.
How long has the band existed? I mean, it's been decades, right? I assume.
I think we put out something about 8 years ago. The Demolition tapes.
Okay. So, but is the current lineup, has it been together for a while? Is it pretty stable, or?
Yeah, this one 3 or 4 years, and we've done thousands of miles together.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we take turns driving.
Okay.
And the mythology of this is that when I'm driving, it rains.
Yeah.
When anybody else drives, it's fine.
Right. You all pile into a van? Or?
Yeah. We borrow a VW bus or a Ford Transit or rent a Ford Transit.
Yeah.
But COVID almost killed us on that.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, before COVID, you could rent a van for, I don't know, $150, $200 a day.
Sure.
Do unlimited miles. So we'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, people like Enterprise said, okay, let's sell our inventory.
Yep.
And we'll buy it back when it's finished. Of course, when it finished, they couldn't buy the inventory back.
Yep.
So now they're charging us $400 a day for a Ford Transit.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to have to do this on roller skates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things that I hear the most now from anybody who does any level of touring. It's so well. Actually, in fact, there's been national artists who have said, no, we're not gonna tour anymore. It's gotten
Steve Vai says he won't play in Europe anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
It costs him too much money.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. The travel is
The travel, the trucking, the hotels, all the overhead is now higher than the ticket.
Yeah.
And it always used to be that the ticket price didn't get you your money back. Like when the Stones or the Talking Heads played in New York, they would break even or lose on ticket sales because Ron Delsner would take it from them. But they would come back into the black on T-shirt sales.
merch. Yeah.
And I think like the Rolling Stones played, they would make $25 to $50 a head on merchandise
Okay.
because people would go in and they'd buy the $200 leather jacket.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where they made their money back. So,
Yeah.
which is kind of unusual because you think rock and roll is in the T-shirt business,
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
but they pretty much are. And that's how indie bands survive now.
yeah.
If you look at something like Bad Bad Hat, when they go up and down the country, they're selling T-shirts to pay for gas and pizza.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, my all-time favorite band is Kiss, and of course, Kiss happens to be the most heavily merchandised band in history. You know, I'm not even sure. I think the Beatles might be number 2, but Kiss is the most heavily merchandised, and it's like they actually sold off their publishing back before a lot of artists were doing it back in the. I think it must have been around 1990, 1991, because
Oh, they cashed out?
on the publishing, yeah.
Right.
But they make, touring, they sell so much merch, it's like, that's where the money really is for them.
I have the worst example for you.
Yeah.
I used to be friends with a band called the Soft Boys,
Okay.
which was Robin Hitchcock and a great guitar player named Kimberly Rue. And the band split up. Robin wanted to go solo, and Kimberly started a band doing Bo Diddley songs.
Huh.
They were in Greece. They got a deal. They cut a song called Walking on Sunshine, Katrina and the Waves.
Yeah.
That's Bo Diddley, and Kimberly Rue is playing.
Oh, no kidding.
So he's in England. I'm still slightly in touch with him. I walk into a store, and I find a toothbrush that when you press it, plays Walking on Sunshine. I'm going, if that isn't the lowest
Wow.
version of merchandising a rock and roll band in the universe, I don't know what.
Yeah. Yeah, that song, though, kind of transcends.
It's a great song.
To be honest with you, I never liked it. I remember, but I think part of it was, when I was a kid, I couldn't turn on MTV without seeing the video. It
Right.
was like, oh, enough.
Yeah, overexposure will kill you on anything.
Yeah. Because that was their only hit, right? Katrina and the Waves, I think, right? I don't remember another.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
don't remember another song. Yeah.
But he was great in the Soft Boys. He played like Hendrix. you
Yeah.
know.
Oh wow.
Listen to the really early stuff. So like, I Want to Destroy You.
Now, with when you were at Rykodisc, was there any merchandising going on there, or because they were?
No, but what we did, and I think most labels do this, is we would package in a way that the super collectors would want.
Okay.
So we had a release called Yictadosa, which is by Zappa, and it stands for You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore.
Okay.
So they'd be like 5 double albums in a box, hand-painted.
Yeah.
So if you bought all 5, you got the box. So that's kind of merchandising, but it's really upselling
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
persuade people. Don't just buy volumes 1 through 2.
Oh,
Buy volumes 1 through 5, and you get this extra thing.
that makes sense.
You
yeah.
know, my favorite actually was Nut Ogden's Flake by the Small Faces, which came in a circular tin, like a tobacco tin,
Yeah.
way before Public Image, because Public Image did a metal tin box as well.
Okay.
So it was really about that kind of packaging. One spoof that I came up with was we did an album with NRBQ called Honest Dollar.
Yeah.
I got $1,000 from the bank, and I sent it to the band, and I said, I want you to sign every single dollar bill, and then send them back to me, and I'm going to put them into CDs,
Oh wow.
and then shuffle them and distribute them.
Yeah.
So if you're an NRBQ fan and you bought one of those, you might open it up and find a dollar bill in there signed by the band.
Oh wow. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Is that kind of the most unique idea that you would 'Cause who would think of that? I mean, that's. I assume that was your idea, right? You're the
Yeah.
one who came up with that. Is that the most unique idea that you had come up with?
I had another one that it didn't quite take off in the way I hoped, but I introduced Bob Mould to my boss, and Bob really hated Virgin Records because they had nothing but session players working for him.
Oh.
And the session players you've probably met session players, but
Sure.
they're very serious and they're in there to make $1 and get out again.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's a good songwriter and a great guitar player, and he just didn't like that. He wanted to be in charge.
Yeah.
So he agreed to sign with Rykodisc as an original artist, and he formed a band called Sugar.
Okay.
And the first album he did was Copper Blue, which is a take on Police.
Yeah.
So I got with Philips DuPont Optical, and we made a copper CD case
Oh, okay.
and printed the name of the band on the copper on the outside.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's like a super limited edition.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Wow. Do you now? Do you do? Are you involved in the industry side of things now, or are you just focused on the music?
I just play the guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you miss it?
No.
No.
As I said, the more you get embedded in the record industry, the more you feel like you need a shower.
Really? Yeah.
And I suppose it's like that in the film industry and the advertising agency and publishing.
Yeah. Interesting. What? So, I mean, was there a specific thing that? I'm so curious. I mean, was there something specific that made you feel that way, or was it just kind of over time?
I got 2 albums. I had cast my net, and people knew who I was, and they would send me demos.
Yeah.
I got a tape from Robbie Krieger, and my boss wouldn't put it out.
Really?
Yeah. It was an instrumental album by Robbie Krieger of The Doors, if you don't recognize him.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a great album, and they wouldn't do it. They said, we can't sell that. I go, we can sell that. They went, no. And then I got another tape from a guy whose name I can't quite remember yet, but he was a student of Bill Frisell's in San Francisco, and he was playing world music really early, before world music really existed.
Yeah.
And I took it to my boss, who's a very nice guy named Don Roast, and he had a desk the size of yours, this deep in CDs and DAT tapes and cassettes. So because I worked there, I could get it to the front of the pile.
Yeah.
And he listened to it, and he came down the next day, and he said, Conrad, this is awesome. This is the best I've ever heard of this genre. And I said, great, let's put it out. He said, no, nobody's heard of him. So my heart kind of broke, because I go, okay, so here's a record industry executive who has the power
Yep.
to introduce a new act, to put out original music, and chooses not to.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's like that everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And there's, and there's so many horror stories too about, like bands, they sign with, or solo artists or whomever, they sign with a label, and and they sign however many album deal or whatever. Then they record something, and hell, maybe it's even happened to you. I don't know. And they record an album, and then the label decides not to put it out, and they shelve it for whatever reason.
Yep.
And then the band is like, and they don't even own the master recordings of what they just did.
Yeah.
And this label says, no, we're going to shelve this for which could be for any number of reasons.
Yeah,
And
I've got tracks in warehouses in London at EMI and places.
no kidding.
The one that comes to mind though is there's a really good guitar player in New York called Binky Phillips. He was in a band called The Planets. They headlined CBs.
Okay.
They were huge. And he cut an album. They were one of the first biracial bands, too. They had a black guy in the band and 3 white guys
Yeah.
in early rock days in the 80s.
Yeah.
And the album was phenomenal. And it went to the label. And Ted Templeton said, we've got Van Halen. We don't need the Planets. And it was just like, if he just got the tapes there 6 months earlier,
Yeah.
and that just blew him up.
And why wouldn't you? And yeah, you've got Van Halen, but so what? Why don't you want another? You know what I mean? Why don't you want another?
Well, because record companies can't market the same thing twice in 1 month. In the book publishing industry, it's called review driven. A book company like Doubleday will have 20 books out a month.
Yeah.
They'll promote one of them.
Okay.
So why do they put the other 19 out? They go, just in case.
Yeah.
And they say those books are going to be what's called review driven,
Okay.
but they're not going to push it.
Okay.
So it's up to the author to go out and find a publicist and get on Good Morning America. But in the record business, it's really specific. It's like we can do one girl singer, one boy band, one heavy rock band, one reggae band. That's it for the next 2 months.
Okay.
I remember watching an interview with Tori Amos talking about that. The difficulties. Well, we already have a female.
Right.
We've already got a piano player. You know, and they wouldn't put her on.
It's insane, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
And from the artist's perspective, it's bad luck or good luck depending on your timing.
Yeah.
Right? Seriously.
I mean, when you remember, if you listen to Norah Jones now, you go, it's good. But her album came out when there was nothing like it.
Right. True. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So the critics went, this is wonderful.
Right.
It was like a dose of fresh air.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I remember that too because I was working for Strawberries when Norah Jones hit big. And yeah, you're right. I remember that. And of course, now we live in a time where you can put things out yourself on the release it yourself online, and
Right.
it's a completely different world now. I mean, record labels still exist, obviously, but it's funny too. People, there's still people who think that if I get signed to a record label, all my problems will be solved and I'll be instantly famous.
Then.
And
I remember meeting a band that had been signed in Utah, and they came up to New York. They got a cheap apartment on Staten Island for $10 a night, and they're all working as waiters and barbucks.
Yeah.
I go, you signed to a major label? He says, yeah, we got no money.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. It can be a dirty business, that's for sure. Yeah, so I can see why you got disillusioned with it. Listen, this has been wonderful, Conrad. We learned a lot, and we went in some directions I wasn't expecting, which is always a nice surprise. I love talking about the music, but other aspects of the music industry too is great. But we do want to make sure people know where to find you online, your band, Bees Deluxe, and if you have any shows coming up in the area that you want to, we have listeners online from all over, but any specific shows you want us to know about, anything at all, social media, whatever.
You can find us on Facebook as Bees Deluxe, and you can find our website, beesdeluxe.com. And our next show is a no-cover show matinee at the Porch Southern, what's it called? Porch Southern Fair and Juke Joint in Medford.
Okay.
And it's a matinee.
Okay.
And we released a video of Jamie Lee Curtis begging us to put out a matinee show.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Was
we're on
that
Instagram
AI?
and Twitter and Mastodon and all those things. So she was at like the Grammys or something like that, and she was begging Bruce Springsteen to stay a matinee because she goes to bed at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So we cribbed the video and put our name in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's brilliant. I love it. All right, very good. And the website, of course, is beesdeluxe.com. And Conrad, this has been wonderful. Thank you again so much, my friend, for coming in. This has been great.
Thank you, Jen and Matt. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.